Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right, we're here for another week talking all the latest in sports and entertainment. And I'm joined as I am each and every week by co-host Calvin Thomas, co-host Justin B.A. the Barber Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
Feeling fine, mighty fine.
Oh, yeah, you feeling good, eh? I can only imagine why. Folks, I know a lot of people are asking, "Oh, where's the show tonight? Where y'all at? Where y'all at?" It was not because of the results of Monday night. As many of you all know, I do work at the stadium, and because it was a Monday night game, I do have a day job. It kind of threw off everything. I had some stuff I had to take care of Tuesday, some all types of stuff that just threw this whole week off. So Wednesday night wasn't available. So we said we would not go a week without having a show. So I asked the gentleman, could we move it to Thursday? And they obliged. I'm not 100%. Y'all probably can hear a little bit in my voice, but I persevered through. I pushed through to be here tonight for this very program. And I'm happy to be joined by these two gentlemen. So before we get into anything, that I know you all are tuning in to see, let's just do a quick recap. Last week, everything that happened. We had a busy NFL schedule. It was a good slate of games for the most part. I thought overall, it was some interesting results. Even the games that went the way that we probably expected them to, they were at least entertaining. And then there were a few upsets. So we're going to talk about those as well. But we would not be the program that we are. We would not be. First of all, I want to kick it to Calvin. Calvin, before we get into any detail, were you there on Monday night?
I was not.
Okay, so
I was not.
That changes things a little bit. I wasn't sure if you were in the place. The atmosphere, let me just give a little background on the atmosphere. The place was jammed. I mean, the place was amped. The place was ready. I'm talking about Ravens Stadium, M&T Bank. Everybody was out. I mean, you had Melo in attendance, Derek Queen, who was drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans earlier this year.
Showed up.
Yeah, it was all types of people there.
The Orioles.
Orioles was there, and that's probably why we lost. But that losing mentality sometimes follow you. But anyway, it was the people were out. It was a night game. Everybody was in black. Dressed for a big game. Traditionally Ravens do all right when they dressed in black. Well, for the most part, if you went into this matchup expecting a competitive battle between two good teams, you got exactly what you paid for. This was the matchup of the week. Everybody was looking forward to. I said that the Detroit Lions would be very good this year. Other people thought Lions wouldn't be that good. They would take a step back, losing their two coordinators. They wouldn't be as good a team. I figured, that week one was an admiration. They were on the road in Green Bay, ran into a bloodsaw, just traded for Michael Parsons. So I understood, you know what I mean? Things happen. But if you would have told me heading into Monday night that the Baltimore Ravens were going to get ran out of the stadium. And when I say run out the stadium, I mean run out of the stadium. So much so that they put up two runners over 100 yards rushing, multiple touchdowns apiece, two 90-plus yard drives, double-digit plays, holding the ball on that Ravens defense. It's never happened. It's nothing to compare it to because it's never happened. The Ravens have never given up two 90-plus yard drives in one game. And they weren't, one big play, busted coverage. It wasn't, you caught us once, caught us slipping, somebody slipped and fell down. And no. The Ravens were physically dominated. And I said this, I can't recall a game under this iteration of the Ravens where I seen them basically just outplayed, period. It wasn't no, they blew the lead at the end. It wasn't no, they should have won and they, no. This team was thoroughly beaten for 4. Even when they were winning, did you really look at that game and say, oh, Detroit's not coming back? Like, defensively, we could talk offense all day. The blame needs to rest where it belongs. And I said this. Derrick Henry will get the headlines. And don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, we brought him here, and I was a huge proponent for Derrick Henry. I still am. I'm not ball off the Derrick Henry train just because I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's fumbled 3 weeks in a row. He's lost 2 of them in critical moments that have flipped. Look, that's all well and fine. But the defense is what the issue really is. Don't bury the lead. Yes, those 2 fumbles. Without Derrick Henry, you don't run for all those yards against Buffalo. Without Derrick Henry, even this past week, he had a big run. And the issue is the Ravens are getting beat up on both lines of scrimmage. Look at it. The fumble that was caused on both times. Look how many linebackers and the penetration from the defense was in the backfield. It wasn't like they got him down the field and snuck him. The Cleveland game, yes, they got him once he got out, and he held the ball like a loaf of bread a little bit. They poked it out. Fortunately, we was able to get it back. But both times, the Lions game and the first game against the Buffalo Bills, the penetration from the interior defensive linemen and the linebackers was in the backfield. Now, you could directly attribute that to no Patrick Ricard. If that's the excuse you want to lay out there, maybe. I'll go with that. But Ricard is the best blocking fullback in the league, in my opinion. So I can say we haven't had Pat Ricard all year. Would that make a difference? I don't know. But I don't want to hear that as the lead on why the Ravens are losing. The Ravens are losing because they can't stop the Buffalo Bills, who are one of the best teams in the AFC, and the Detroit Lions, who are one of the best teams in the NFC. They're not losing to Cleveland. They're not losing to low-level teams. These are 2 of the best teams in the league. And before the season, Calvin asked me a very important question. He said, does the regular season matter? And my response was, yes. Why does the regular season matter? Because if you don't take care of your business in the regular season, you'll end up in the playoffs on the road, once again, not hosting playoff games, but traveling to Kansas City, traveling to Buffalo, and then you're making your road that much harder. So you can play your violin, but this is the root of the issue. When you don't handle your business in the regular season, you end up in terrible situations when it comes to playoff times. Do I feel that this team is not going to playoffs when to make it to the playoffs? Of course, I think they're going to make the playoffs. Am I ready to ring their alarm like the season is on fire? No, I'm not jumping off the cliff. But you have to look at issues where now Meta BK, we don't know when he's going to be back. Where are the reinforcements coming from? Where's the cavalry coming from that's going to make this run defense even better? I don't see it. Offensive line getting beat like a drum. Lamar Jackson sacked 7 times? 7 times? I mean, you can't not look at that and say, oh, Lamar need to run more. If you go back and watch the tape, the run lanes were clogged. That was a spy on him every time. And
sometimes too.
9 times out of 10, Lamar can outrun those guys. But again, when you're trying to look down the field, get your guys open, and the pass rush, and you got great penetration by those defenders pressing down on you. Hey, I'll turn it over to Calvin and come back later. Calvin, what's your thoughts on this?
You went through a lot. I got a ton of notes myself because I want to make sure I hit on everything. First thing I hadn't heard a lot of people talk about was we don't talk about the Ravens' fourth quarter struggles. We want to talk about defense or offense, whatever the case may be. But their fourth quarter struggles, where they outscored 40-15 in their 2 losses to Buffalo and to Detroit. In both games, they were either tied or had the lead, and they were outscored a total of 40-15. I'm not counting Cleveland because the Cleveland game was a blowout, and they outscored them, I think, 21-7, I believe. But in your 2 losses, when you're playing 2 of the better teams in the NFL, and you cannot close those games, be it one on the road, one at home, regardless of circumstances, something needs to change because it's not just defense. That means your offense has stopped scoring as well. That's first. I'll get that out the way. Second, the fumbles thing with Derrick Henry. In both cases, the right side of the line got beat like a drum, and he's stutter stepping because he has nowhere to go. You allow the defensive lineman to loop back and then strip the ball from behind him. I understand he's fumbled. You got to hold on to the ball, but if he has a rushing lane or have the lanes open, he's not standing there stutter stepping at the line trying to get through. That's another thought. Third, we got to talk about.
Say that one more time.
He's stutter stepping at the line because he has nowhere to go, and that's allowing these defensive ends on the end to loop back around and punch out the ball from behind. As you can see, Aiden Hutchinson did. He came around from the right side, and Henry was still at the line of scrimmage because he had nowhere to go, and the ball was punched out. Third, are we going to address the fact that Lamar's foot may have been worse than they have originally let on? He had his foot injury in training camp. He missed a couple days. Everyone was worried because he missed a day of practice, but he hasn't been running as much the first 3 games. And, 1 game, okay, he's in the game plan. 2 games, 3 games. And I'm not saying he should have taken off because if you look at the tape, they had a spy that sometimes they had 2 on him, so he had nowhere to go. But even when he was able to get leverage the defense, he wasn't able to turn a corner and take off like we normally used to seeing Lamar do. So we're really going to say, are we saying he's 100% healthy? That's all I'm saying. It hasn't been thrown out there. I haven't seen anybody talk about it yet.
Yes, he's healthy. He's playing.
Okay. Well, he's playing, of course, but is that foot healthy? Was it foot healthy coming into the season? Just a thought. Just throwing it out there.
But even the games he's been running, he looked fine. It's not like he's not striding, especially the first 2 games.
I've just gone back and looked at it, and I thought maybe you can say, I don't want to say he's lost a step, but you can say it's just not all there right now. I'll just leave it at that. Defense. This game in particular, going back to this game in particular, I felt like the offense had to score on every possession. Not saying they needed a touchdown, but they needed to score on every possession. Detroit comes out with a touchdown. The Ravens answer back with a touchdown, I think on like 4 or 5 plays. Then we get back-to-back punts. And then you go to the second quarter where Detroit gets the ball and goes on a 18-play, 10-minute drive to score a touchdown. And when you're watching that entire drive, it didn't seem like it was 18 plays. It just seemed like they would get 2 yards rushing, 3 yards rushing. The Ravens would blitz on third down.
4 for 4 on fourth down.
Pass on third down, first down. And it was the same over and over and over. We're gonna run blitz, or they're third and long. Let's pass blitz to give them first down. And there was never an adjustment made the entire drive in which you have an 18-play drive and they get whatever they want on third down on crucial downs. And that was extremely frustrating. Now you end up tying the game miraculously because you do some halfback pitch to Derrick Henry on 3rd and goal from the 1.
Should have been picked off.
It should have never threw the ball. He should have never called a play. And then Lamar fumbles on 4th down trying to make a play, and miraculously they go 3 and out, which I thought the defense was gassed. They were going to give them a whole nother touchdown or another drive. But the offense had to score on every possession, and they failed to do so. And even when they get the ball in the second half and they scored 21-14, they go right down to give up another touchdown and tie it up. And at that point, they start to play from behind. And then you have the Derrick Henry fumble, and then you're playing. You have these lapses on defense in which you're giving up big plays in the pass and the run game. And it just seemed as though, like you said, there are no reinforcements coming. But when you're missing your starting defensive tackle, your starting defensive end, outside linebacker, and 1/3 of your starting or one of your starting cornerbacks, so you expect to make a major impact. I don't. Whatever's going on, man, at BK, I've heard some things that aren't good. So quality of life comes first. So you want to, and if those things are true, then I don't understand why he's not even on IR. But if you don't have a rainbow and replace him on the roster, I guess that makes a difference as well. Or replace that roster spot, I should say. But it's a lot of things just going on with this defense and the offense to take the brunt of it. And the schedule doesn't get any easier. You go to Kansas City on a short week. with Andy Reid, who just saw all this tape. Now they can't run the ball like Detroit. Doesn't mean they won't try. And they're getting healthy as well. They got Xavier Worthy coming back, who's practiced all this week, and now you're missing your left tackle potentially, who hasn't practiced he didn't practice yesterday and today, I believe.
Well, part of that is because they played on Monday, so they extended.
Oh, so they gave him a rest day.
He gave him a rest on, was that Tuesday?
No, Wednesday.
Yeah, they gave him a rest on Wednesday.
I didn't think he practiced today either.
But I think he played every snap. The other night they said he was gassed for some reason, but you know who we talking about. So man, that ain't no shot. He could be hurt and won't even say nothing till anyway. But go ahead, finish your point.
But look, there's a lot of things going on with this team. I hear the cries for Harbaugh. I was on that bandwagon early in the year. I've taken a slight step back just because of some of the circumstances. However, that's still high on my list. But this team's going to have to win offensively a lot of games, at least until the cavalry shows up, whenever that happens. I don't know if you're going to see Ricard this week. That calf injury is something scary. But it comes back to the point, why do you put him on IR as well? If you thought he was going to be back in week 4, then maybe that's why. But I've heard the Christian Wilkins rumors. Don't know if you want to introduce that into your locker room. If you're desperate, you're desperate. I don't want to go get back and get Calais. Been there, done that. It's just a lot. But it starts if you can. But if you go 2-2, I think you erase a lot of questions because you beat Kansas City in Kansas City, and then it goes to just kind of taking the next step. Because I don't think anyone thinks this team's not winning the division with no Joe Burrow for the next 3 months, and your only competition is the Steelers team that I think everyone's waiting to implode some kind of way. If you don't win this division, then you can sound the alarm. But they should know. I'm not even talking about making the playoffs. They should win this division, and that should be their goal right now. Getting healthier, getting better, week after week, and win the division.
Yeah, I'll come back after you, Justin. Go ahead.
All righty then. So, you guys said an awful lot, but I think some points are actually truly valid. There is no hope when it comes to your defense. There's no one coming. You got people with neck issues and things. Calvin Noy, he got a nurse's injury. He's up there in age. I think he got a hamstring injury or whatever. So that's not necessarily a groin. So that's not necessarily helping. So there's no help. But I remember talking similar to this last year, not for you guys, for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm quite sure. I know I said, like, look, your defense sucks. Joe Burrow, don't mess up. It's on you. Your offense is far better than what your defense can produce. So you have to just be better. So I challenged the Ravens offense to just be better. Each one of these games, you kind of let it slip by. You let it slip. You could have won you could be 3-0 right now if the offense played better. You can put up points through the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter, but you're 27th in fourth quarter scoring. Why? What is going on? What is happening in the fourth quarter that you guys can't punch it in when you should, just like you do all game? So I have questions there. Some of the IR people, I think some of these guys should have been on IR. I think Patrick Ricard should have been on IR. Maybe other people should be on IR. Why? What position does that open up for? You got a halfback that's not being utilized at all. You got Keaton Mitchell that can come in the game and actually make a change. He could be the lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder. Derrick doesn't have to have all the carries. You can give it to Keaton Mitchell. He can, if you know that your offensive the offensive line is having issues at times. He is the one type of bat that can actually go to the east and west and actually play on the outside. That way, Derrick Henry can actually play north and south where he should be playing north and south. That's my issue when it comes to that. It's just like you have a guy that can actually help out, that can do screen pass. Doesn't get in the game at all. He's like healthy, non-scratch. Like he's just healthy and not playing. Like that's a weapon. I'm not saying you got to use more Justice Hill. I'm just saying you have to go east and west as much as you go north and south. And to Lamar Jackson, my issue with Lamar Jackson is he drops back so far. that he creates. I disagree with both of you. He creates running lanes for himself as far as he drops. And that spy that you spoke of, I just saw plenty of breakdown. He's faster than him. He's faster than if you want to have two of them. He's faster than both of them. He has to run the ball. Now, I understand he can't get 20 yards. Cool. I'm not talking about getting 20 yards, but 5, 7, 3. He has to get those kind of positive yardage so you can maintain your drives, so your defense can get more rest, because they're letting up 99-yard drives. They're tired, they're gassed, they're not going to have anything. So you have to do more. You have to sustain drives. You cannot allow yourself to have 3 and outs. You have to do more. He should be running like Patrick Mahomes is running the ball. I'm not blaming him. This is a philosopher. This is a coaching thing. This is an offensive coordinator thing. He has to run the ball. That is the one thing that the Ravens have, is one of the greatest. He is the greatest rushing quarterback of all time. He has to use his weapons. Last year, he had the same issue, and his mother had to tell him to run the ball. It should not have to wait till your mother tells you to rush the ball. You have to make more plays to sustain drives, to keep the defense as gas as they are, keep them as fresh as you can, so you don't have these issues as much as you're having. I'm not blaming Lamar. The clear culprit is the defense, but we understand that. What are you going to do now? Are you going to say it's the defense the whole entire season and make your way out the playoffs, if not to the playoffs at all? Like, you can't keep using that as an excuse. We didn't give it to Cincinnati. You have to be better. The offense is the thing that's better than anybody else. You got the number one scoring offense down there in the league. You have to score on all 4 quarters of the game. If you do that, if you sustain drives, if you maintain drives, you keep the defense as fresh as you can, you keep the offense off the field. Goff, mind you, was untouched, but he kept Lamar Jackson off the field. That's how you win games. I've been trying to say clock management and all this other stuff since we started. You have to play that ball game. You cannot try to scramble and look for the 30-yard play. It's not going to be there every time. But you can get 3 yards. You can get 4 yards. You can get 5 yards and just maintain drives. I like to see more of that. I like to see more Keaton Mitchell so he can bust east and west paws, and then Derrick Henry can go north and south, and you have a full complement of rushers to go with that philosophy of just maintaining the clock, slowing it down, let your defense get a breath, because they're going to need to get all the breath they can because they're god-awful right now. That's my soliloquy. Do a little bit better, and you win these games.
See, I think it's so misguided. I really think that's a misguided take to try to put this on the table of Lamar Jackson. Monday's game was such an anomaly. Like, game 1, Lamar had 70 yards rushing. When the lane was there, he took it. Every time. He ran like 7, 8 times, and he got yards. Like, so you can't say he didn't run when he needed to in game 1. It came down to they turned the ball over, and they gave up plays in the passing game. That happened. But they scored 40 points. It's not like the Ravens didn't do their job in game 1. Game 2, the Cleveland defense, as I said, is a lot better than people think, and they would give anybody fits. They still put 40 up. 7 of that was on the defense. Give them credit. But 33 points against a good Cleveland defense, where Lamar moved the ball after struggling early because they were on his ass. They got one of the best pass rushers in all of football, and he played like it. But Lamar ran the ball when he could, but the lanes was not there. It's a division opponent. They've put up 33 points on that team. I'm not taking that away from them. But on Monday night, that was a different animal. I watched the game 5 times at this point, and I've broken down the film. Like, yeah, you saying that Lamar dropped back. You know why Lamar was dropping back so deep? Look at his outside right tackle. Look at his left tackle. Look at his guards. Like, that's the whole line I just named, guys. Like, if you see the penetration, you're talking about he dropping back too deep. He's trying to get away from these guys. When they've handed the ball off to Derrick Henry, I hear what you're saying. When they hand the ball up to Derrick Henry, he busts 1 or 2 here and there. But for the most part, They were run blitzing, and they was because they was trying to protect against the RPO to make sure Lamar didn't get outside. What happened game 1 against Buffalo? Lamar would hold that thing out there, and they keep it and ran to the left. What did I always say? Lamar always run to the right. Game 1, Lamar was holding that thing going to the left. So what did Detroit say? Okay, we looked at that film. We put our ends wide, had our linebackers step up in the middle right here, and you had a spy who was just waiting there. So now it's on your receivers to get open. Now, he was waiting on Zay. Like, how many catches did Zay have on Monday? They put a cloud on his ass. Like, go back and watch the film. Go watch the all 22. I want everybody who's watching this to get you an NFL pass subscription and go NFL on there and watch you the all 22 footage, and it will show you. I don't even know the defensive coordinator's name for Detroit. Give them all the credit in the world. I know it was much talked about Detroit losing both of their coordinators, but I don't know what they figured out. But they figured it out after what they did last week. They followed up with a tour de force against the Ravens deep, and then we still was moving the ball. It's not like the Ravens weren't able to move the ball. The problem is when your defense gives up 2 95-yard drives of 10 minutes or more, it's only 60 minutes in a ball game. Like, that limits your possessions offensively right then and there when your defense can't get off the field. Then when you got an offense that you can't say, I get it. The Ravens are an explosive team. That's just how we're built. That's just how the offense is laid up. Derrick Henry can go run into a wall 3 times, and on the 4th time, he might hit his head on the goalpost. That's just the way it is, guys. You can't tell a guy, hey, don't score a touchdown. Zay will get open. Bateman was getting open. Andrews was getting open. It wasn't a terrible night offensively, which is why I'm not going to hang this on the offense. Because Mark Andrews, we have not seen a night from Andrews or a game from Andrews like that all year. And you said Lamar should have ran it. A lot of times where Lamar in the past would have ran it, he instead threw it to Bateman, who was able to make something happen. He instead threw it to Mark Andrews, who was able to make something happen. Hey, Des Walker even caught a pass that wasn't a touchdown in this game. Like, he didn't get Hopkins involved because they was making sure they played tight coverage on him. They had a game plan. We're taking Zay out of the game. You can have Andrews. Andrews can do what he want to do because they let Andrews free. Andrews was getting everything he wanted underneath.
Just don't want no big plays.
They didn't want nothing deep and nothing cheap. I'll give them that. Give them credit. And because they put a spy, that guy would have typically been covering the tight end. So instead of playing Andrews, he said, no, I'm playing Lamar. And that was the difference in the ball game. That guy who typically would have took the tight end or the running back out in the flat, instead, they put him on Lamar. And that was the difference. Go back and watch the tape. I mean, I ain't making nothing up. So
you're not making it up. But what I'm saying is, I think you're undervaluing how great Lamar is. It don't matter if he has a spot. Michael Vick had a spot. It didn't matter. Look, I seen Lamar Jackson have a spot, and they have him teed up.
It's the difference. When you have a spy and you have time to throw, no one gets open. Okay, when you have a spy and someone's in your face. As soon as you hit your 5-step drop,
I mean,
it's nothing you could do at that point. If I hit my back foot as a quarterback, and if someone's already coming in my face, it doesn't matter if it's a spot right there. They wasn't getting that fast. Stop it. It wasn't like soon as they hike, they in his face.
The man was sacked 7 times.
I'm literally watching it right now.
I'm
watching every single set that y'all talking about. It wasn't like as soon as you said hike, they in the backfield. No, it takes 2 to 3 seconds for them to get back there. In those 2 to 3 seconds, he can get out. This is football.
I get
what
that.
You talking about?
What
so his first read in 2 to 3 seconds is supposed to be run instead of looking trying to make a play on the field.
It ain't open. They had it blanket. Sometimes they was running 2 deep safeties, and everybody else was single coverage, and it was just that one spot. You have to get past the line of scrimmage and go.
But it's not just about the spot. The defensive line was eating the offensive line's lunch.
And then it
defensive ends was taking the widest of angles.
It got so bad. It got so bad. it got so bad they had Andrews back there, and then all of a sudden they run these 3 receiver routes where it's only 3 receivers in the route, and they trying to protect with 6, and it's like, wait, where's Henry? Where's Andrews leaking out? No, because we're trying to protect Lamar.
Nobody is absolving Lamar Jackson of being great.
Plays. That's when it's ways to beat that. It ain't like this is the first time ever.
But it's not like it happens every week, is what I'm saying. I think you're overstating that that's the issue of the team overall. They lost on Monday because
I'm not saying
they got beat.
This is the game. This is the game. You try to go back and say, what can we do differently? All I'm saying is
they won't play
defense is
like
going to be the defense. It is what it is. You're not going to change that.
You
So what can you change?
They have to change. You can mix it up.
They are not going to change. This is going to be your defense for the rest of the year. It's going to be awful.
Guys can get better. You can expect more from professionals. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of that was scheme. A lot of that was scheme. It wasn't just, they just weren't doing it. They were calling stupid schemes, which is why I point to this guy right here. And if you're going to have a coach who's inexperienced in calling different schemes, you do have to hold them accountable. That's why they went out and got Dean Pease last year and said, we need to help the young fellas because he don't know what the hell he's doing in situations.
That's why they got Chuck Pagano as a consultant or whatever.
Chuck Pagano as a consultant. My point is, when you are in third, it's 4th and 8, 4th and 6. Why don't you have it? Why are you in cover 0? Why are you in cover 0?
Because we gotta get pressure. Everyone tells me I need to get pressure on the quarterback. I need to blitz more.
So you leave one-on-one. You leave one-on-one, and then you got Marlon pressing up on the line. And then he gets smoked.
St. Brown ran a phenomenal route because there
was nobody back there.
He beat the hell out of Marlon. He beat the hell out of Marlon. That
stupid defense? You got a 2-receiver route. A 2-receiver route. They not running the ball on 4th and 6. Like, what are we doing? That's defensive coordinator. That is coaching. Like, that's what I'm saying. There are situations where the Ravens hurt the Ravens on defense. It's not all about what Detroit did. What I'm saying is, I think people get so caught up in the offense and blaming, because we didn't score enough points. Look, man, you at home, you put 30 points on the board, you're supposed to win that game. Like you say, the 4th quarter scoring and struggles, I agree. I'm not taking nothing away from that. But again, what happens with your defensive philosophy once you get up? Once you get a lead, why do you change your game plan? Why do you go back to that prevent lack stuff? Why do you leave your guys one-on-one, allowing people to get open? That is called foolishness. That's called stupidity. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, at the end of the day, I'm calling your intelligence into question. Because at the end of the day, it's 4th down. If you get a stop right there, you get the ball back down 4, you go score a touchdown, you win the game. But instead, you
4th and 2, okay.
Huh?
It was 4th and 2, okay. Never mind. Okay. Keep going.
At the end of the game?
Yeah, it was 4th and 2.
Okay,
keep them.
They planned it for the run. Why in the world are you going to leave one of the best receivers in the league one-on-one and you press him, get a jam he pushes you out the way and sail the ball right over his head? That's a ball game. That's the ball game. I mean, it's countless opportunities from a defensive perspective to make some adjustments that the Ravens simply did not make. It pisses me off when people try to simplify off of highlights. Like, go back and watch the tape. If the Ravens handle their business on 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down, you get all the way to 4th down, now you want to change. Now you want to change. We have no pass rush, okay? We've established that. Didn't we know that before the year? That you were relying on Kyle Van Noy, an Asian veteran who's out.
Always to have a contract year.
Trash player for the past 3 years.
You want him to have a contract year.
He's out of here. Like, I would trade him now. Get rid of him. Like, somebody will take him off your hands. I don't know what you could get for him, but just free up a roster spot at this point. Ajabo, been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks. He get in there. Did you hear his name once?
No.
Did you hear his name once? I didn't.
No.
Not one time. Look, I love the rookie, but he played like a rookie the other night.
He played like a rookie. He played like a rookie. Yeah, I agree.
Trenton Simpson has given me nothing all year.
Trenton Simpson's good for one thing, is running downhill and blitzing.
If you running downhill and the running backs is running right past you and you missing tackles, what good are you? What good are you? You can rename him Patrick Queen at that point. You're going to rename him Patrick Queen at that point. I'm sorry. Look, everybody can say, well, Roquan, look, we know Roquan is overcompensating. But I'm not absolving Marlon Humphrey or these defensive backs who are supposed to be the strength of our team as well. They was getting smoked all night. I didn't care who. Sam Laporta was eating the middle of the field up. Yeah. And a lot of that was coverage. A lot of it was coverage.
I'm glad what you said. You say what you said about Roquan, because if you watch the tape, if you know football, when you have two or one great defensive tackle in front of you and not a lineman can get to you, you make plays. We saw Roquan make plays the first 2 weeks when you had Matabike and Travis Jones eating up them tackles. Then there was a 2 and 3 yard run. Then there was a fumble return for a touchdown. Then it was Roquan meeting running backs in the backfield. So I'm not blaming Roquan when you have to shed a lineman and then find the ball carrier, because that's not what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make tackles if he's being blocked. So you have to have someone in front of him. So I don't blame Roquan
with that zone blitzing. I mean, that zone run scheme that Denver used to run. That's what they ran out there the other night, and it was phenomenal, absolutely sensational. You could take a lane and you got to the next level. Roquan was ineffective at that point. How many tackles did Kyle Hamilton have in the backfield on Monday night? How many times you hear Kyle Hamilton's name unless he was getting smoked?
Unless he was in coverage.
That's what I mean. Like that, when you play in the top, look, you're not going to play a team like Detroit who got 2 running backs who can smash you. I don't think Kansas City can do that.
And they got a tight end and they got 2 receivers.
I don't think you'll play a team that good again until possibly, who you think, the Rams maybe? Maybe the Rams?
I mean, that's if Staff is healthy. I mean, if you tell me...
Look, if you can't get no pass rush,
but even then,
be hurt.
I was gonna say, but even then, like Devontae and Puka are really possession receivers. Like Jameson Williams gonna run past you. St. Brown can run past you,
and he did.
So
again, I don't want to overstate. That's been a little bit of my caution. I'm furious. Don't get me wrong. I'm in here sweating right now. I'm hot. Don't get me wrong. I hate to lose games where I feel like there were opportunities there. Was I pissed at Derrick Henry from the ball? Of course I was pissed. But at the end of the day, we had, and look, I'm guilty. This is what I will take the blame for. At the beginning of the year, I said this was Super Bowl or bust. And a lot of people misread what I said by saying that, and I said this, we got everything from an offensive perspective that you should be able to win with. But I overestimated just how bad some of these offensive linemen are that we are hanging our hat on. But again, we can overcome that. I'm not using that as an excuse. Patrick Mahomes went to the Super Bowl, one of the worst offensive lines in the league. You know what I mean? Joe Burrow had one of the best offenses with one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Get it done. But the defense was supposed to be our strength. The defensive backs were supposed to be our strength. And too many times I see them getting beat. Calvin, can you honestly say that all of this is on the D-line? All of that can't be on the D-line.
No, because look, defensive backs can't cover. We've how many times have we seen them get beat? How many times have we seen them not make plays?
Or
how many
make
times
penalties?
Or even make penalties? I'm like, it's an effort between both. Like the best unit has been the linebacker unit, and that's effective based off there's no defensive line at this point. But you had a defensive backfield in which you talked about, you got 4 number 1 draft picks. You got a potential defensive player of the year in Kyle Hamilton. You got the best safety in the draft. We talked all about that all training camp. And now they can't cover anybody. But is they can't cover because they're not getting any pressure, or is it because they're not getting pressure because they can't cover? Which one is it? Is it chicken or the egg? We're gonna have that conversation.
You got to pick one. And that's the thing. Like I said, I said all that to say about the offense is only because I understand that that's the only thing that you can actually do better, because I don't think the defense can get better. I think you are what you are.
But what's better? They averaging 35 points? They went 40, 41, 30?
You need to average 38.
Can be better. offensive line.
You know what? I agree with you because look, if you go back and look at that first half, if you get in on that first drive instead of going run, or run, pitch, whatever.
They could create a run lane.
But then even if you get the ball back again and you're able to score twice in that 2.5, 3 minutes, and then you get the ball after halftime as well. And I'm not saying their defense wasn't stopping them per se. They just got the key stops.
It wasn't. The thing with your defense is you allow the team to do both. You allow the team to go over the top and run.
That's a good point.
At the end of the day, you got to pick one. Like, all right, we're going to put.
But this is the first complete team that could do both. I mean, it's only 3 games in, but it's the first complete team that could do both.
Look, when you look at game 1, they was up 40-25.
Yeah, they became one-dimensional. They were just passing at that point. So there was no run. So
they choked. Okay, they choked in that game. That is what it is. I'm talking about this game. They were beaten.
I'm talking about this game.
I'll say, look, this is the second time, in my opinion, in the last 2.5 seasons that they flat out got beat. They got beat last year by Philadelphia. They got beat, and they got beat by Detroit this year. Every other game, I would make a point that the Ravens lost more than an opponent won, that they lost. But those 2 games, they got beat. There was nothing. There were very few things that they could do to turn the tide of that game, and everything would have had to go perfect. They got beaten those 2 games.
Well, I also say, and to your point, Justin, you got to pick one. The problem is, and I'll go back to the defensive coordinator. I know people talk about John Harbaugh. He gets some of that blame too. I don't care. It's a combination of the two. You hired the guy. It comes back to your coaching acumen and your smarts. Maybe you need to hire somebody else. But at the end of the day, either you call the plays or you tell him to call the plays. One of y'all need to take the blame, or you can take them with you when they fire your ass too. But the point is, when you say pick one, you get desperate because you get beat on the run, and then you go try to run blitz, and now they beat you over the top. So that's the whole problem. He can't anticipate. Part of coaching is anticipating what the offense or the defense is going to do next. You can't be reactionary. Once you're reacting, you're beat. That's just the end of the story. Like, once you have allowed the other team to dictate the pace of play and dictate this is how this is going to go. That's how you go on 2 95-yard drives. Literally, the punt team put this team at the 2-yard line. At the 2-yard line, you're supposed to have that team backed up, get off the field with the ball back in your possession, at least near midfield, ready to go in and score again. But instead, you allow a team to go 98 yards, not once, but then you allow them to back it up and go another 95 yards. I think 90. How many yards that was?
98, 95, I think.
2 95+ yard drives where they consume the clock. Again, it's only 60 minutes in a ball game, and you expect me to sit on the sideline while you get gashed, and now I gotta hurry up. That's part of the problem. You sitting on the sideline getting antsy. Now we down 2 scores almost, or that's how I feel, because their momentum's going their way. They've gone and they flipped the score on you. You get the ball back, you run the ball, and they stop me. Run the ball again, they stop. So now that's when you left to. Now we got to pass the ball. We got to air it out. That's how Derrick Henry ends up with 50 yards rushing.
Become one-dimensional.
That's how you get away from your game plan when now you're chasing not only points, but you're chasing the clock, because the clock is not on your side any longer once your defense can't get off the field. So it all works hand in hand. And again, Kansas City coming up this weekend. If Andy Reid is who I know Andy Reid to be, they're going to come out and try to run that ball. They're going to do all kinds of bootlegs, get Xavier Worthy the ball in his hands in space.
Versus get the Hollywood in space.
Passes. It don't have to be just handing the ball off. Screen passes, dump offs, short ball. They're going to do check down Charlies and walk down the field on this defense, because why wouldn't you? You just seen the game plan. The blueprint is right there for you. Gas them out. Get Mahomes, put points on the board, and they got a good defense. They still got a good defense in Kansas City. So Lamar and them still going to have trouble. I'm not taking nothing away from the Chiefs. A lot of people say, the Chiefs need this more. No, the Ravens need this more. The Ravens need this win. The Chiefs, they're in trouble, but they, like Justin been telling me all year, they've been without their 2 receivers. They've been without their litany of weapons. Those excuses work for some teams, don't work for others. But you know what I mean? Like, so at this point, the Ravens have that players. They need to get the job done. What's your thoughts on that game, Justin?
Whew, first and foremost, somebody get this boy a napkin or something.
Yeah, man, I get
All right. All right. No, but you're 100% correct. I actually agree with that. I don't. Kansas City can afford maybe one more loss before it's like but they're looking at a wild card. I think the Chargers
disagree with that.
Could go win the division, and I think that they'll be okay because Denver and Vegas is not necessarily taking over that division or as second or third. You know, they're going to be in the hunt. And I expect Kansas City to go on a winning streak sometime soon. So, with that being said, I say it's on the Ravens because the Ravens got this nasty taste in their mouth. Pause. They have this defeat thing, this losing thing that they have, in which they almost giving the game away or whatever. However you want to classify it. A lot of the time, you could win these games. So you still have that. So you need to just go out there and just make a stand saying like, yo, we are really that good. We just had a few mess-ups along the way. So I do think the Ravens should perform better than Kansas City because it's more of a statement game to them. And they lost last year. So it's like
you think it's more of a statement game for
the Ravens
Baltimore?
For the Ravens over the Chiefs. The Chiefs knows what they have. They still have Patrick Mahomes. They're gonna try to ride this thing out until Rashee Rice comes back, and then then the pressure's on them. They're gonna have to close out the season way more than opening up the season. So
I disagree with that only from this perspective. Eliminating was no rivalry, so you can't even say it's a rivalry. Eliminating that, but in my opinion, Baltimore can lose this game and still win the division. Kansas City loses this game. I think their division hopes are really dwindling because they've already lost to the Chargers, and then the Chargers could be 3 games up. Plus, that it's still early, but they still have to beat the Chargers, and they still have Denver to contend with as well in a tougher division. So if Kansas City wants to win, if Kansas City wants good as we thought they were. Okay, if Kansas City wants to win the division, they need to start winning ball games.
I don't
think Baltimore can go 1-3, and Joe Burrow not coming back anytime soon. I'm not scared of Pittsburgh. I'm not scared of Cleveland. So that doesn't bother me.
I don't think it's necessarily about the standings. I don't think it's about the playoffs right now. I think Kansas City can right the ship later on and get a wild card. I mean, they might not win the division, but still a lot of football. The Ravens.
You don't think the Ravens? But you don't think the Ravens can right the ship?
Let me make my point.
Schedule wise, that's all I mean.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about will the Ravens make a playoff. I said that from the beginning. They'll make the playoff. They'll probably win the division. That's not the point. You start the year losing to Buffalo, Detroit, and Kansas City. That sends a message that maybe we just not that good. Maybe it sends something to the fan base. It says something to the locker room. It says something to general manager. Maybe we need to make some moves. This game matters. I don't care what anybody says. Now, are we missing Isaiah Likely? Yes. Are we missing Pat Ricard? Yes. Are we missing Matabike? Are we missing Kyle Van Noy?
Everybody missing somebody.
But like you say, everybody has missed big time players. The Chiefs are getting Xavier Worthy back this weekend. That's one of their dogs. That's one of the guys that the people say, Patrick Mahomes haven't looked like himself because he don't have his litany of receivers. Well, the Ravens offense has looked great, and they still 1-2. The defense are missing pieces. They lost game 1 when they had their pieces. So it's not like I think a confidence. And again, when I told you the regular season matters, you can't drop 2 regular season games to Kansas City and Buffalo, which might come back later when it comes to home field advantage of importance. Tiebreakers come into play, but it also just does something to your psychology. Lamar Jackson has only beaten Patrick Mahomes 1 time in his career. That matters. It will be nice to right the ship, turn some of these headlines around, give yourself a boost of confidence. 2-2 looks a lot better than 1-3. I don't care what nobody says.
I agree with everything you said, but Lamar Jackson beating Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in the regular season really doesn't do anything anymore at this point. It only matters in the playoffs. Because he's 2-2. He's 2-0, 2-1 against Josh Allen in the regular season, and 0-2 in the playoffs. Like,
what is he against Patrick Mahomes?
He's 1 and whatever.
Exactly. So my point is, it's not just about
but him winning on Sunday and then it'll be this offense is still getting adjusted. They're not. No, it'll be excuses made. So
it's not a problem.
You gotta beat the people that you gotta beat. It's just as fair as that.
In the playoffs, yes. In the playoffs,
not even in the playoffs. You gotta beat them now.
So wait. So why did it matter last year when they beat Buffalo and then they went to Buffalo and then they went to Buffalo and didn't matter and it didn't matter?
No, because then the Ravens followed up by choking the Oakland or the Vegas and losing the teams they shouldn't have. That's the point. They need to handle every game should be a stepping stone. They've already lost 2 games, Calvin. How many games you want this team to
drop? They lost 2 in the first 3 weeks last year.
But is that a good thing?
No, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
It's this. This is to my in my opinion. The league is starting to say they're not who we thought they were. They are easy. They will give you the ball. They will give you a chance. It's blood in the water. You got to exercise that. You got to clear that out.
I've heard that about the offense. I've heard that about the defense, and I've heard about coaching. It's not
you're laying tape out there for people to make a game plan to say, if we do this, we can stop you. Now, if you lose 3 different games with 3 different types of game plans, then somebody smart enough is going to say, okay, when we Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's going to gain some confidence. We can get these guys. It does matter.
That's chatter. That's like, hey, don't give up on the play, guys. Why? Because Derrick Henry's going to give you a chance to get the ball. But and I'm not even nitpicking. It's just that's real. That's saying,
you're putting bad tape out there. You don't want to put coverages out there. If we do this, we can beat them. If we play this defense, it works on Lamar. If we you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it. So I hate when people say the regular season doesn't matter. The regular season is when you play most of your games. This is when you fine-tune yourself. And at this point, you've given up your cushion. Again, this is the NFL. The NFL is not a guarantee that if you start slow, you're just going to automatically rebound. Now you've given away your ability to drop a game here or there. If you start 1-3, they say the likelihood, again, will the Ravens recover? Of course, I have faith they'll recover. But the question was, I think this is a must win. And anybody who's telling you that, we can afford to just drop another game against a top opponent, I think that's short-sighted. I really think that's short-sighted. And you're giving another team confidence. If Kansas City get on a roll, do you have any lack of confidence that they can go on a run if they get you right the ship 2 weeks in, they get back on a roll and they beat Baltimore? That's a big boost for them. Come on, man. I just think we can't be just nothing matter but the playoff. So you want to go in as a wild card, going on the road. You feel confident with that?
I've seen them lose at home. I've seen them lose on the road in the playoffs.
All right, man. You feel how you feel. But let's move on. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Who you got winning?
I got the Ravens winning. They better win. I mean, ain't no X's and O's to it. You gotta win. I mean, what point? What choice do they have? That's what I'm saying.
No. I'm saying, who are you picking? That's what I'm saying.
I'm picking the Ravens. Okay. I'm not picking Kansas City. I haven't believed in them all year. Y'all the Kansas City guys.
Damn sure ain't realized this was the 4:00 game of the week, but okay.
Oh, the Ravens play at 4?
They play at 4. I'm assuming it's Romo and Nance. It's at 4:25. So it's the last game that starts.
I got something to do Sunday. Oh well. So this past weekend, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the New York Jets. Again, this is Get Off the Damn Fence. We have to cover our favorite teams. I decided we put Calvin up last because his team wet the bed. So let's go with Justin this week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a big win over the Jets.
Y'all better win this week.
Squeaked out a victory. 29-27.
Game cushion, so we all right.
Walk us ahead.
So y'all can get dog walked in the playoffs by them. Y'all want home field advantage. Y'all better win this week.
Tell us about it, Justin. What was your thoughts on the game?
I actually didn't like this game. I thought that we it was too many punts for us. We have not gotten to a real comfortable offensive flow, and like you said, that stuff matters. We were without Tristan Wirth and our starting right guard and our starting left right tackle. So it's like, Bucky Irvin can't get off. Rashad Wright can't get off. So we're struggling running the ball. These are things that I'm looking at. So hopefully when you get more of your guys back, then you can go and see the regular offense. But we're giving the ball away too many times now. And as a result, teams are lingering around. That's why we have to rely on these fourth quarter heroics led by Baker Mayfield, is because we're letting teams kind of stay around. And our special teams is god awful. We had one of the worst special teams in the league. That block punt, that block field goal in which they scooped and score, like that's a problem. Like we have to do better. We have to not allow somebody to move the line of scrimmage back into the kicker. Like that's a problem. So there's a lot of issues that we have that hopefully gets panned out. But yes, did the Jets celebrate a little bit too early? They sure did. Did Aaron Glenn celebrate too early? He sure did. Although it was fly, it was too early. He's young. He'll get better at it. And Baker Mayfield just said, I'm just going to find a way to win. And that's just what Baker does. He's been doing it all season, 3 straight games of it. Abuka is once again showing his greatness. One-handed catches, clutch catches, and at this point, I think Baker just kind of throws it up and say it's in the vicinity, go get it. That's literally what Baker does, and he gives his opportunity. He gives the wide receiver opportunity to catch the ball. Now, what you just shown is the fact that we just dropped Mike Evans, so now we're without Mike Evans, probably for the next 2 to 3 games.
Is Abuka hurt too?
Nah, he's fine. He's fine. He'll play. Chris Godwin hopefully comes back this particular week, so we're good. Tristan Wirth, our all-pro left tackle, he's been practicing. I'll say that.
Full participant.
Yes, so he should, without any last second, he should be playing. Tristan Wirth has been activated to play, so he's playing this upcoming week. So that's all that matters. It's about survive and advance, survive and go to the next week, and it's hopefully you can iron out the issues that you had. But defensively, this team didn't scare us or anything like that. They didn't necessarily destroy us. They had one good drive and they got about 80 yards off of it. But our defense plays solid. It's our special teams that we need to work on, and the offense got to be better.
Is Levante David out? What's going on with him?
Last I checked, he should be fine. No major injuries of concern coming out of a Peter report, so he should be fine. He's just not the same Levante David. It's just It is what it is.
Calvin, you have any thoughts on this one?
I thought it was a great game, a great comeback by Tampa, especially dealing with the injuries that they had coming off of the prior week as well. Who was the defensive coordinator Baker was talking about for the Jets?
Aaron Glenn?
Steve Wilkins.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
Okay. He was the coach of Carolina, and he was the main one that said, "You got to go. You're not good enough to play for this team." And then he went over to Baker. That is, he went to the Rams. With Lynn Cohen. Lynn Cohen and Baker went to Tampa Bay. Lynn Cohen now got a job with Jacksonville.
Okay,
Baker is still here.
Okay, I saw the post game. I couldn't figure out who he was talking about. And for some reason, I kept thinking about the guy that was with the Rams for some reason, but he said Carolina. You're right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but besides that, like I thought it was a great game from Baker. Great, like I said, great comeback. Like just from seeing what happened with Cleveland and Green Bay, just them not repeating the mistakes of Cleveland and kind of when they had a chance to win the game, to go out there and win the game, even though they were facing injuries, they were down a couple offensive players as well. So I give credit to them. Hoping everybody will be healthy so we can get a good matchup this week. Y'all play in Tampa? Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay.
So look, this is the thing. I'm this Eagles matchup, right? Real quick. Is being blown up as it should. I mean, 2 undefeated teams, but they act like we never stopped the tush push. We stopped it in the playoffs where it mattered the most. So we it's not like we're foreign to it. You do need a stud on a defensive line to do that, and that's led by Villa. So I'm not necessarily worried. But we did pick up we cut him early, but we brought him back. And, yes, we brought him back for this game and see what he can do. The 400-pound lineman, defensive lineman from Florida, his name is Desmond Watson. Right? He's playing. Trust and believe. Oh. We had to sign him to the practice squad. He can get elevated at any time.
So it's just for the tush push.
I'm not saying it's just for the tush push because, like I said, we already beat it. But it helps when you got 700 pounds of men. Pause.
I'm not saying because we already beat it.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to set some things first, but we'll see what he can do, and hopefully he can play efficiently to free up our linebackers, as y'all was referring to with Your linebacker, Roquan. You need to. I don't know why most did the like. I don't know where that philosophy kind of changed. Like y'all 2000 Ravens, y'all had two of the biggest defensive tackles, and Ray Lewis barely got touched. Like that used to be a thing to have some bulk.
Then he complained about it till he got Haloti. So
things change, I guess.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys. An absolute ass whipping.
It was close to. No, it wasn't.
Calvin, I just have a question. When do people start scheduling the Cowboys for homecoming? Like get right. You know what I mean? If you want to look good, put the Cowboys on your schedule. You know what I mean? Because everybody, the offense, look, even people. Russell Wilson had people convinced he was an NFL starter against this Cowboys defense. Everybody like, okay, Russ, let Russ cook. Now, he still threw the pick at the end, but that's Russ. But Russ was throwing like moon balls and all types of, and then you go out there and make Caleb Williams look like number 1 overall pick in the draft. Like,
he looked phenomenal.
Like, Caleb looks sensational against that sorry defense. What you thought?
I've said this team is Cincinnati West. They can't stop anyone. Now against the run, they played pretty good against the run, keeping DeAndre Swift and Mongrae, whatever the backup's name is, like less than 50 yards on about 20 carries. But passing wise,
they picked one. Understood.
Yeah. But passing wise, Caleb Williams got whatever he wanted. Roma Dunzier and Burden just looked phenomenal. And then they couldn't retaliate. They couldn't score back on offense. No CD. He goes out. Pickens is throwing a fit on the sideline because he ended up causing a turnover. And then from there, he was mentally out of it. And I don't even like why did you bring CD back for one play? And you knew he had a bad ankle injury. What was the point of that outside of the gambling stuff, which some people will be everybody's pissed about.
How long is CD out?
They say it's high ankle sprains. They're talking at least 4.
Yeah.
You're talking about him possibly going on IR. So
ain't the worst.
I mean,
they supposed to be Cincinnati the West. You can't be Cincinnati the West if you ain't got your best
number one receiver. Yeah. Dak didn't have a good game. Like the offensive line was struggling. I'm blanking on the right guard's name. He went out as well. Top draft pick. So it was a bad game all the way around. It was an injury play game, especially on the offensive end. What can you do besides just give up 31 points and look pathetic to the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams? But child down.
Justin, any thoughts on this massacre?
No.
Yeah, me neither. We were contractually obligated to talk about this game.
Go Pack, go. Micah comes home this week.
All right, next up. Speaking of the Eagles, what a game. What a game. The Rams had this game fully in their control. A lot of people thought, this was it. You know what I mean? We talked before the year. I said it. The Rams, that might be the team. They might clip the Eagles in the playoffs. They got everything you need defensively, offensively. They had the weapons. But once the Eagles were down, 23 to, I think I want to say 7 or something like it was bad.
21-7, 23.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
26-7.
26-7. And
that was the second half too, right?
You give up
that was 20. That was the beginning of the third quarter, and they did not score again.
And honestly, this might be I can't even say this because let me say this, and I think I get frustrated with people because I value winning. I do. I value winning over style, and to me, if I've shown the ability to do what both things that you're supposed to do in football. 2 facets of football on offense. You can run or you can pass. I've shown that when need be, I can pass, and I prefer to run the football. That's the way this team is built. That's the way this team is ran all the way to a Super Bowl. This is how this team has been constructed to win. Do you have 2 good receivers on the outside that you can stretch the field with? Yes. Do you use them like – yes, you do. Do you use them like, Cincinnati would or Dallas would? No, because you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield and you have a mobile quarterback in Jalen Hurts who is very, very happy with doing everything Justin talked about earlier that he preferred Lamar Jackson do. He prefer him just, hey, tuck the ball, get you 3 yards. Tuck the ball, go get 4. Always go forward. Get the positive yardage. Move the ball. Get to 4th down if need be. Tush push, 1st down. Move the chains. Keep the ball matriculating down the field. Put points on the board. Get W's. They have now won 17 games in a row playing exactly this style of football. May I repeat that? They've now won 17 games in a row playing this style of football. The goal of NFL football is to win football games. Now, in this game, it required them to pass the ball more because whatever they were doing early was not working. The Rams showed that they could stop the run game. Whatever the passing game wasn't in enough rhythm, maybe they weren't doing enough to get in the rhythm. But something clicked. And Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown said, throw me the ball. Posts, comebacks. That's all it was. Go back and watch the film. It wasn't nothing fancy. It wasn't nothing that scheming it up. He ran out straight, turned around, came back to the football, made a guy miss, and would take off. It happened multiple times. And at the end of the day, they came back and got a victory on a blocked field goal. But people will say the blocked field goal. But the truth of the matter is they didn't even need the touchdown. They were up. They could have just blocked it, and the game would have been over. But the block was sensational. I thought Dan Orlovsky did an excellent job on Get Up the other morning, showing that it wasn't just that block. It could have blocked. It was phenomenal. Like the scheme is what did it. This is what I talk about coaching. Coaching can win you football games when you see something on tape with tendencies that the other team is doing, and you make adjustments to make sure, hey, we see that when they come off the end, the guy doesn't swing around. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to put 2 defensive tackles right here, kind of stack them and rush the same gap. Boom, get your hands up. Hey, we just missed it one time. We hit it another time. And when the game's on the line, big fella hits it again, takes it back for a touchdown. That's what you want. You want to win football games, no matter what it takes. I don't understand this thought process where people feel like you only can win football games one way in the NFL. No! 17 in a row to finish NFL Super Bowl champions right now. And I can't disagree with it. What do you want, Calvin?
So you saying you expect your head coach, which was a former special teams assistant, to create more plays when needed?
Okay. Figure it out, champ. Like, I mean,
but yeah, look, I had the Rams win this game, but just that last play, prediction. Just that last play in itself. Look, I also had Philly in the points in the parlay on another ticket, so I wasn't upset at the touchdown at the end of the day. But just Philly's ability to win ball games in various ways. You can say that they've won, 3 different ways in 3 different weeks. Last week against the Chiefs, it was offense. It was just holding the ball towards the end of the game with the tush push and just getting 10 yards every 4 plays. And then against Dallas, they kind of just figured out a way to put it together without Jalen Carter, who was out for that game. They've just found ways to win ball games, and they've been closer than needed, in my opinion, when they should be clear, heads and tails over, I guess, everyone in the league or most of the teams in the league to a certain extent. They have a tough test this week on the road, and just want to see them play a complete game. I just still don't think they've played a complete game, especially offensively. This was A.J. Brown's first huge game of the year. You're still seeing flash from Devontae. You feel really haven't seen much from Saquon yet. So they still have a lot of weapons that they can unleash. But I just want to see the full complement and see them playing a complete game. But they do have a tough track, and a lot of these games are on the road, especially starting this week with Tampa. So, but
think about what you just said. You haven't seen Saquon do anything spectacular yet. Yet they're a running team. Like, go ahead.
You're right.
No, Saquon's just been very solid, and that's the thing. He hasn't had the 200 yard, nothing like that, but he's been very solid because teams are gearing up to stop the run. They just chose not to pass the ball. They are playing clock management and doing all those things because they have a strong defense on top of it. So they did this. This team is just like, not the team. I take that back. This quarterback, he doesn't care what you want him to do or what you want him to be. He doesn't care. I just win. Like when Skip Bayless had that song about with
all they do is
Tim
win.
Tebow.
All they do
Yeah,
is
no,
win.
that's his song.
But you
know
can't.
what I'm saying?
Wait. You can't say that when they won because of a block field goal last week. You can't say that when they won because of the run game against Kansas City. I agree with you to an extent, but it's not just it's not just him.
Multiple aspects to it.
It's not just
I'm
him.
not saying it's him.
That's
but
no. You giving him all the credit, which I don't believe is true.
No, I did not give him all the credit. It's just
he said he doesn't care.
He doesn't have the ego that some other quarterbacks might have, in which you say like,
isn't that a good thing?
I need the yes, it's a great thing. I don't know.
It's a good thing until you need. It's a good thing until you need your quarterback to drive 90
That's
yards.
What he did.
Hold up.
They were down, and then he started.
You don't
to air
get
the ball
17
out.
in a row when you're caught in Super Bowl MVP. If you ain't done something, they shut down Saquon in the Super Bowl. And who was the man? Jalen, with his feet and his arm.
They scored 40 whatever points. Like the whole damn team could have been Super Bowl MVP.
No. He was scoring. He was rushing and he was passing. Like, don't disrespect that, man. Go ahead, Justin. Finish your point.
So they was down in this particular game, 26-7, and they just I guess this is bad for the Rams. They had way too many field goals. They had like 3 to 4 field goals in this game. You got to score. You can't keep a team around. They could have blew this team out, but they was kicking field goals and they left a window open. And Jalen Hurts said, "Okay, Saquon, it's not your night tonight. I got it. Don't worry about it." And just started, like you said, air the ball out. Hey, throw to AJ Brown because for some reason they playing a 1-on-1 and they're still playing a 1-on-1 and they're still not rolling no coverage over to AJ Brown. So I'm gonna keep throwing the ball. Like it's, but he has to. You have to be egoless to do that. Like that's the thing. He's not forcing too much of anything. It's like, if it's there, I'm gonna throw it. If it's not, then I'm gonna keep it rolling. That's not every quarterback is like that. So that's their key. The fact that he is as selfless as he is, and everything just works for them right now.
But they also loaded too. That's makes them a great team. They have the options to fall back on. Look, at the end of the day, it's hard to argue against the roster that Howie Roseman put together. Like, you have 2 great receivers, a tight end, running back, quarterback that all complement each other and lack ego. Now, I'm not saying A.J. Brown wouldn't love more catches. Of course he would. What receivers wouldn't? But it has not stopped them from winning. And that's the point. I just, as a team, I picked to go to the Super Bowl for a reason. I just think they have that winning mentality. And that's a good thing in this league, man. That's a great thing in this league. Speaking of winning mentality, there was a team who was already, booking tickets to the Super Bowl. They were already talking about fitting their rings. I know Michael Parsons was like, well, we would talk to them, if we go win a Super Bowl, you're not going to be undefeated. Oh, Super Bowl. What have y'all won? What have y'all done in this league? But anyway, I know one of these guys here said that the Green Bay Packers would walk all over the Cleveland Browns.
It was
one
Calvin.
guy on this panel said that. Oh, that was Calvin?
Calvin.
I do recall a guy saying,
somebody also said that somebody was running for 2,000 yards last year, so we can be wrong for a week, and somebody can be wrong for a year.
Wrong about
There's a
lately?
difference.
That's what we talking about.
There's a difference.
What have you
wrong
been wrong
for
about
a week versus
lately?
wrong for a year?
That's
it's
what
different.
Janet said.
And I still have Green Bay's #1 seed in the NFC.
What have you been
I still
wrong
said
about?
they might go undefeated.
I said they was going to beat Detroit. They dog walked them. I said they're going to be the best team in the division. That's true so far.
Look,
Nostradamus can be wrong every once in a while.
Yeah, you was wrong. Check the schedule. When's that Detroit game in Detroit? Is it Thanksgiving? I hope it's Thanksgiving. That would be, oh my Lord, that would be a great Thanksgiving morning. I would love to see that matchup. Detroit and Green Bay. Check the schedule. When is that game? Because
it is Thanksgiving.
Oh, what a game. What a game to sit around watching with your family. What time is it? 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
It's at 1 o'clock. But 4 o'clock. Yeah. It's at 1 o'clock.
Because if that Detroit team that showed up on Monday night, if y'all go in there playing like y'all did on Sunday, y'all in trouble. Because like I said last week, this Cleveland defense is better than you think.
Okay, and it's not Detroit's defense, so I don't in any aspect expect Detroit to hold Green Bay to what this happened in Cleveland. It's two different defenses, two different teams, completely two different scenarios. So what's your point?
You don't think the philosophy was very similar? You don't think what did the Packers offense show you on Sunday that gave you any confidence?
What did the Detroit defense show me at any point this year that gives me any confidence they could stop Green Bay?
Did you just watch the game on Monday where they sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times?
The game when they gave up 30 points?
The week before when they did the Caleb Williams, after we just saw what Caleb looked like the other day.
And what happened to the game? What happened to the game before that?
The game was the first week of the season.
Okay.
So we're going to sit here and act like teams can't get better with a new defensive coordinator after one.
They can get better, just like offenses can get better. You're right. I still think Green Bay is more talented than Detroit.
And I think
I said Detroit will get. Wait. Hold on. I even said Detroit will get better throughout the year as they get used to their coordinators. I even said
it took them a week.
I just said that they'll be too far behind Green Bay. Okay. Are they behind Green Bay?
That was like later part of the season.
Are they behind Green Bay?
Same win-loss record.
Are they behind Green Bay?
And like I said,
are they behind Green
Cleveland dominated them on both lines of scrimmage. And
Green Bay dominated them in week 1. Okay.
I'm talking about Cleveland and Green Bay right now. I'm talking about this game.
So Detroit plays Cleveland this week, correct?
Do they?
I believe so.
Oh, check that out. We'll talk about the future schedule in a second. We're going to go over the whole schedule. But let's talk about last week. Let's talk about last week.
They do.
Are you picking Cleveland to beat Detroit like I picked Green Bay? To lose to Cleveland?
No,
why not?
I'm not.
So
wait, no. You didn't pick them. You tried to play the line. You didn't have the courage of your conviction to pick Cleveland. You tried to play the 50. You couldn't get off the damn fence. You was trying to straddle. You was trying to straddle.
You ain't make a definitive. You could have had it too.
All out there stupid or nothing, but I put my money on it, so I'll take that more than anything.
That don't even matter. You ain't put it on paper. You ain't put it on wax right here.
I told you what was going to happen in this game because Jordan Love is one of those quarterbacks. I'm sorry, man. I get it. I get it. He looked flashy, but
what does that mean? One of those quarterbacks.
He one of them quarterbacks. He's high risk, high reward.
He's Josh Allen.
He plays no. Josh Allen don't turn the ball over like him. Josh Allen used to. Josh Allen has cleaned that up in the last 2 years, and that's what Jordan Love needs to do. Jordan Love is too risky with the football. I think now you can say maybe he got so many weapons that he doesn't really he doesn't hone in on doing things well. Did you see that interception he threw? Did you see that terrible interception, which is what lost him the game? Which is what lost Cleveland wouldn't even been in a chance to kick that walk-off field goal had he not thrown that interception and got them back in the game. Because this was a defensive struggle. The whole game was a defensive struggle. If he doesn't throw that interception right to the defender, he got tricked. It wasn't like no exotic zone blitz or nothing. He just literally dropped back, tried to look the guy off to the middle of the field, and just threw it left, threw it right to the guy in his arms. Come on, man. That's a rookie mistake. A rookie mistake. And then you block the field goal. But again, that happens. We've been seeing that a lot more this league. Y'all notice that? A lot of block kicks this year. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah. But you can't throw that interception. Again, Cleveland's defense is good. I picked them to be an upset pick for the week for that reason on my parlay list. But that was inexcusable. And Calvin, I want you to talk about your quarterback.
He had a bad game against a good defense. It happens. I think he'll bounce back. We'll see how Jared Goff and that offense plays against his defense as well. I'm not saying you can compare it apples to apples or anything like that, but we'll just see. But I expect Green Bay to bounce back. I'm not acting like they won't go. They were the 1985 Bears or anything like that. So say that again.
You can't compare apples to oranges, but
you can't compare Granny Smith to Fiji apples. That's what I was going with. You ain't let me finish my statement. But yeah, we'll see.
You kept talking and went to another sentence.
We'll see how Green Bay bounces back, though.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. All right. Next up, the Chargers and the Broncos. This was a good game. I thought the Chargers did a good job coming back at the end. Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen continue to have a great connection. Justin, what was your thoughts on this ball game?
It was a good game. Justin Herbert definitely is proving a lot of naysayers wrong. But once again, he's on that, I guess, on that list where the postseason matters more than anything. So I expect him to have a decent type of a regular season. I really thought this was Denver's to win, man, and I think they gave it away.
Yeah.
I think it was a phantom call. I hate the call that they called. Was like the boost or whatever like that. So homeboy had to kick again.
Propelling.
Oh man, that's
leverage
a terrible call.
like that. Yeah.
Leverage.
That was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that was the Indianapolis game. That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't this game. So okay, bet even better.
Denver.
Even better. It was still Denver's to lose in a sense. So I really got to go back into trying to understand. Like Bo Nix he's not having the season in which I guess they projected him to have. J.K. Dobbins is running the ball well. R.J. Harvey is not getting involved as much as I would want to. So I think they really have to go back and do some research on their own to see what's going on. But this was theirs to win, and Chargers just they just outgunned them. So 3-0. Shout out to the Chargers.
Yeah, I think your defense has to step up, even though you can't go 3 and out and punt the ball with like a minute left.
Yep.
And I think that's what happened with Denver. And
you let them walk down.
And then your defense, we talked about this Denver defense, you let them get 50 yards and get in the field goal range and they kick the field goal. I don't understand what this kind of allowing Bo Nix to kind of freelance and just throw the ball everywhere. You've got JK and you got RJ Harvey as well. You should be giving them the ball 35, 40 times combined. Play off the play action, and then that's how you use Courtland Sutton and the wide receivers there. But I don't think you should be passing or playing off the pass with the run. You need to run first, then set up the pass. I'm not saying Bo Nix is just kind of throwing the ball a lot more than I thought he would. I don't know if Sean Payton just thinks he's
only throwing it to one person. That's the problem. He only throwing.
But even still, he shouldn't be throwing the ball as much as that. They need to run the ball more. Like if you have this defense, don't put them behind the 8 ball and have these turnovers and then give them short fields. And then we're going to complain about the defense giving them too many points. Well, it's easy if you only got to go 10 yards to get a field goal, and then all of a sudden you can go 30, 40 and get a touchdown. Is that really on the defense or is that on the turnover? So that's where I think it starts with Denver.
Yeah, that was inexcusable at the end of the game. That's coaching. Just not understanding time, place on the field. Play call was stupid. They tried to get too aggressive. Should have ran the ball, get the clock down a little bit more. But give Jim Harbaugh credit because I like to look at it from that perspective. Look,
yeah,
3-0. Defense looks good. Offense looks good. You beat Denver and you beat Kansas City. So that means you ahead in the division. 2 division wins.
The Raiders.
That's 3-0 in the division.
That's 3-0 in the division.
Those are good wins to start the season, and they're confidence boosters. So, again, we know about the traditionally LA doesn't have a great home field advantage, but
and technically they still was that game 1. Was that their home team when they played in Mexico?
Against Kansas City, I'm not sure what you consider.
Technically, they still have a home game against Kansas City. So, but I'm assuming, okay.
We'll see. But yeah, that was very good on Jim Harbaugh. A lot of people, it's year 2, man. He turned the program around. I think it's been good for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and they got the Giants this week.
Yeah, 4-0, baby. Lock it up. Well, we'll talk about that later because we'll see what the Jackson Dart experience looks like. We will see. Next up, the Buffalo Bills defeated the Miami Dolphins. Now, I don't want to waste too much time on this, but
it's on Thursday, right?
Yeah, this was Thursday night game. I wanted to make mention of because if you watch this game, Miami hung in there tough, man. And this was probably their best performance of the year. Even though the week before they probably should have won that game against Indianapolis too. So they honestly could be 2-1 right now after losing badly in week 1. But I thought this game, a couple plays here and there. Tua was good. Got Tyreek involved. Got Waddle involved. Had the costly turnover at the end of the game that really messed it up. Josh Allen, he was good. Nothing sensational, but he was effective when he needed to be. James Cook was absolutely sensational. And that's an indictment on that Miami defense. But again, I know Justin, you've been harping on this. Is McDonald? Is he done? Like, is he looking for a job? What's going on? Because at the end of the day, if you look at this Miami team, running back wise, they 3 deep. Receiver wise, 2-3 deep. They got, I think, still a good quarterback when he's healthy and Tua. Defensively, they should be much better than what they are. I don't know what the problem is. When you go look up that name, they went and traded and got a Micah Fitzpatrick back. They still got some household names and some good players on defense, but they cannot put it together with the scheme. I think it needs to be a coaching change in Miami. I don't know how much you can change mid-season, but it just feels like they always a step behind scheme-wise. And this was, again, in Buffalo, so it's not like it's an easy place to win. I give them credit for fighting. And the score is a lot. I say it says 10 points, but that game was a lot closer than 10 points. It was a winnable game at the end. So credit to them. Justin, I know you was talking about the coach. What's your thoughts here?
One, Tua went Tua, right? And he threw the interception. And it was over. It was just like grand opening, grand closing.
It was a bad throw.
It was a bad pick.
It was bad. And that's the thing. And Mike McDaniel, he hitched his wagon past the Tua. It's just it is what it is. Brian Flores tried to get Tua out of here. He was like, "Yo, this is not the guy," and he said it's not the guy. And I'm not harping into.
It was after they drafted him, though. You can't.
It was premature on that.
It is what it is. How many playoff games has Tua won? Alrighty then. So it's like he sets him up for failure. He's Mike McDaniel. So this is what happened, and this is what I honestly think this is what happened. Brian Flores was such a strict disciplinarian. So instead of just kind of finding someone in the middle, they flipped it and went all the way to a player's coach, like a heavily player's coach.
Scheme.
Well, that being said, I think the league caught up to Mike McDaniel. I think they caught it, like they're not as explosive as they used to be, and they still had they got A-Chan, they got Hill. They still got the speedsters. It's just that the defense did what they're supposed to do. They took some time out and they figured them out. So now you have to get real disciplined in some of the things that you can do so you can steady these waters. And that's not him. You can hear him after these press conferences. Like he's not that guy to look to and say, "All right, we're gonna be all right. We just we interrupt and it's over." So I'm not gonna harp too much on it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Calvin?
Yeah, that was, like you said, it was a bad Tua turnover late. They went in that ball game. That interception was just terrible. And that just flipped the game because they were down 7. They were going for the tie at that point. I'm not really sure as a whole what happened with this Miami team. Because like I said, 2 years ago, I mentioned this last week, they were, potential number 1 seed in Baltimore in week 15, 16, something like that, late in the season. And they lost. And I think Baltimore put 50 on them that game. And ever since then, it's just been kind of downhill. Bradley Chubb got injured that game late when they were already down, and it just hasn't been the same. And, the Tua situation, the Tyreek Hill situation last year, it just kind of snowballed to where it's gotten this year. And they have a ton of pieces that could be trade pieces on the offensive side. You still have Tua, you still have Waddle.
There's been rumors about Tyreek this week.
It's been a lot of rumors. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, so. But I think Mike McDaniel, his time in that organization is coming to an end, and it's almost time to hit the reset button. But Tua is still young, and he's probably still in the middle of that contract he signed as well. So it's kind of hard to do that at that point. But something's got to change in Miami. Something's got to change.
Yeah, but like I say, when you look at the offensive skill set, I agree with you. The league caught up in many ways because Tua and Tyreek was one of the most dynamic connections. Tyreek was going for 2,000 yards like 2 years ago, offensive player of the year, like catching everything. And I don't know if it's from us. People just figured out the quick passing scheme that McDaniel run. He come from with that San Francisco,
West Coast,
Los Angeles Rams tree where that's the offense they run. You know what I mean? And he was an architect. That's why he got the job behind a lot of that, and he just don't have that power back. I think A-Chan was never supposed to be a lead back. He's supposed to be a change of pace back, and I think you're missing a bruiser who could give you that thunder and lightning like most.
Who said that, right?
Who's that?
Somebody asked Tyreek Hill early in the season, if not preseason, like, yo, how do you feel about your third down, or do you think something along those lines? And he said, Achane needs to sit out on third. Why? Because he's not a bruiser. He can't get you that 1 yard. He said that himself, but people hate on Tyreek Hill. So
I think Achane should be the third down back, and they should have a bruiser or more of an every down like running back on first and second down.
It was like trying to get the first down. Like if he was like third and one, that kind of thing.
A short yardage guy.
Yeah.
But they always had that. Go back and look at all them running backs they had when they was going for all them big yardages. They had multiple, and they kept getting hurt. Remember? Like they had a lot of running backs at one point, and then, man, I don't know. They remind me of San Francisco. Anyway, next up, Washington defeated the Las Vegas Raiders. I bring up this game because we were out JD5 on Sunday. They had Marcus Mariota out there. Yeah. Your boy went out there and put up numbers, went to work. What was your thoughts, Calvin?
This Commanders offense didn't need JD5. They picked the right time to sit him just because the offense was clicking. Defense held up for the most part. If you can get a good win against a good win and kind of get your quarterback trying to on the mend as well, take it if you can get it. Hopefully we see JD and they ran it without Eckler, without Brian Robinson, who they traded. It was Mariota, and it was the third round draft pick that they had as well.
Bill Crosby, man.
Yes, Jacory.
It's Bill.
Okay, I'm going by government name. But yeah, so it was a ton of run game, and then because even Mariota had like 200 yards passing the touchdown, so it wasn't like
and he was running.
It wasn't like he was really relying on that. So yeah, good win by them. And I know there's talk about whether or not he's playing this week because they play. I forgot what they play, but we'll see.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Justin, your thoughts? What about from a Vegas perspective as well?
I'm quite sure they came into this game thinking they was going to win this game. But they're having some issues, man. They're having some foundation issues. I don't know if Pete Carroll can get it right. I don't know if Geno can fix it. But the offensive line leaves a lot to be desired.
Can we blame the OC?
It's not Ashton Gentry fault, guys. If you watch these plays, I mean, he has. I mean, every contact he's getting hit in the backfield and then spinning off to create something. And is leading to the 60 yards in the game. So if you're just looking at the box score, like, he ain't doing nothing. No, he's getting hit and just trying to make something out of nothing. Brock Bowers, where you at?
Well, to be fair, he got hurt, and he shouldn't have played week 2. He shouldn't have played week 2, and I don't think he was right last week. I think he re-aggravated. But go ahead.
Well, he was out there enough to do something. And they found somebody in Trey Tucker, came out of nowhere, starting to put up dividends. It's just, they got onslaught. I don't think they expected this from Marcus Mariota. I don't think they expected this Washington football team to run on all cylinders without JD5. And they got buzz cut, and you see the result.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll monitor them when we go over the week's games coming up. And on the final game we're going to talk about before we go around and pick other games, you got to talk about these Indianapolis Colts, man. I know it's just the Tennessee Titans, so it's not that big a deal, but I want to hone in on something because I think it's a bigger story than people are recognizing. Daniel Jones was basically considered a bust, a castaway under Brian Daboll in New York. What the man got to do, Calvin? What he got to do? The man has a skill set that was not utilized in that scheme. And what they've done in Indianapolis is maximize what he does right and run the football. We saw when he had Saquon that there were moments where him and Saquon were a good 1-2 punch, but they did not have the pieces to utilize what he does with his arm. And I think Indianapolis does have these. They might not be household names, but they have a litany of receivers who are allowing Daniel Jones to play his play action game and get Jonathan Taylor the ball. I think this is probably the surprise of the league, in my opinion, is what's happening in Indianapolis. But I know you don't like Daniel Jones because he was a giant in your division. But just admit it, man. The man is playing good. Go ahead. Calvin.
He's not causing them to lose games. I think that's fair to say.
What type of critique is that?
We pay you to
say something nice.
Shout out to Indiana Jones. I love the name.
Y'all taking him for you beat y'all quarterback or something. Still,
I mean, we're just talking about the things that's happening in the league, and this is the story of the league. This is everything. I mean, he's playing as if you want.
Y'all got to win the division.
He's playing as if you want Jordan Love to play. That's how he's playing.
Yes, I do.
He has a decent. He had good receivers, and he's making the best of it. And he's winning games, unlike Jordan Love this last past game. And they're just playing well.
He's playing nobody. We're talking about
Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor, very similar backs. They mirror each other. So it's a decent comp. It's a decent comp.
You said you got him winning the division. Let's take a look at this division. What about the Houston Texans scares you? What about the Jacksonville Jaguars scares you? That's my point. What about the Texans and Jaguars?
I don't trust Daniel Jones for an entire year. That's all I'm saying.
But who in that division are you so scared of that's going to be
jump them?
You know what I mean? The Colts ain't gonna be able to keep this up when the Texans play them.
If we can get some reps and we can get some open up the playbook, Cam Ward in Tennessee really no. It's Houston the bus. It's Houston the bus.
Houston.
It's Houston. That's the only team.
They look uninspired.
Look, I'll say like this. Let me say this. If the Indianapolis Colts make the playoffs, you better position yourself to play them in the first round because that's as far as they are going.
All right.
Not if Jonathan Taylor have
I don't care who it is. If it's Cincinnati, if it's Pittsburgh, if it's Denver.
This is really an indictment on Anthony Richardson. My God, this as soon as this guy comes over, it was like we skeptical. Everybody was skeptical. The whole league was skeptical. Daniel Jones himself and the family that is Daniel Jones was skeptical of this team, and then Anthony Richardson just laid an egg and can't get the starting spot, and Daniel Jones just takes over like this. My God, man!
Find a new team. I got a question. So what does it say about Brian Daboll?
That's the bigger point. He on his last leg. That's why he made the change to bench Russ to bring in a rookie to try to save his job. But I think what is going to happen is the rookie's going to come in there, play solid, lose, and Daboll going to be gone. They'll bring in somebody else who can right the ship. Again, I don't like the idea that you are on thin ice, so you rush the timeline of a young quarterback. I don't like that. But I think Dart has talent, and he'll show flashes.
That was a good catch.
I just don't like that. I don't like that. So, just really quickly, I know we get late in the hour, so Atlanta and Carolina, man. Wow.
They got Did they score? They still
no.
They scored, yeah.
They did not score. 30-0. Bryce Young had a very decent game. The defense was spectacular. The Carolina's defense Carolina's defense was average. Michael Penix, I honestly think.
Hold up. Say what you're about to say, Justin. Go on, say what you're about to say. Go ahead.
I think he had a concussion some kind of way, and they let him play through that.
Really?
Because
this is not about Kirk Cousins.
No, that has nothing to do with Kirk Cousins. The throws that he was making was so god awful. Like it was clearly to the opposite team and things like that. I think it was one interception that he threw in which he tried to tackle him and he missed and he was on his knees, pause, and he just kind of whipped another time. It looked bad. I'm like, yo, check on him. He's not all there anymore. So I think that he was hurt some kind of way mentally, and as a result, they said, I guess we go with Kirk Cousins just so he won't get hurt anymore. And Kurt ain't do nothing either, but that's just what
Kurt not gonna go in there and say today for y'all put on my man. Free Kurt. Justified. But anyway, trash, man. 30-0. Too much talent on that Atlanta team to be getting blanked. I'm sorry. That's just too much. By Carolina, I know it's a division opponent, but that can't happen.
Not getting blanked.
Can't happen, man. Yeah. Now we see what San Francisco look like Cardinals looking like tonight. So that San Francisco tough victory on Sunday don't look as good now, do it? Because
They
that was a
just scored.
struggle.
They just scored.
Okay.
One possession game now, so
But that was a struggle to get that win over the curve. Let's fast forward to this week. So yes, tonight, Thursday night football, Seattle and Arizona are in a battle right now. What's the score on that game, Calvin?
2013.
Okay. So Seattle been looking solid from what I've been seeing. Seeing they running the football and playing some solid defense, but we know that they lost. Arizona lost Connors last week for the year, so unfortunately, he's not there. So of course that changed your game plan to some extent. But let's take a look at this lineup. Some of these matchups coming up this weekend. Justin, what's the game that you're looking forward to
this weekend?
Yes, sir.
I mean, clearly for me, it's going to be Tampa Bay in Philadelphia. I'm just tired of defending Tampa Bay right now. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of the games where they just do it themselves. I hope the Monday night game would have did it, but it was against Atlanta, so I get it. And whatever the case, so I understand. It was against Houston.
The Monday night game last year.
It was Houston. It was Houston in which we beat them.
Okay.
So it's just one of those things where Philadelphia they're the cream of the crop, they're the defending champions, and we gotta see where we're at. This is one of those ranking battles. Regular season games matter, and we're gonna see where we're at.
Thank you. Regular season games do matter. I just want more people to adopt that because we watch more games of regular season than playoffs, and how you play in a regular season generally will determine whether you make the playoffs and what place you're in. So stop just thinking you're just going to coast. Ask Cincinnati how that works out for you. Calvin, what's the matchup that you're looking forward to this weekend?
Indianapolis and the Rams. This is going to be the game in which if Indianapolis is competitive, they win this matchup, then I got to start paying attention to them. I'm predicting the Rams win, especially in LA, but especially coming off that tough game in Philadelphia. But I just want to see how they handle against a true
we'll
contender.
Believe you, yo.
How does Indianapolis play against?
So you don't want to talk about Green Bay and Dallas?
We don't talk about Green Bay and Dallas, so we just going to skip over that like that's not on the schedule.
What is that talk about with Green Bay?
What do you mean? What is that talk about? These are your teams. Don't play in our face.
Sunday night football for a reason.
Don't play in our face. Like stop it. Like you know what a game you paying attention to. Like, and you're gonna be rooting for the Cowboys. Acting like, I'm a Green Bay fan tonight.
No CD Lamb, George Pickens doing whatever, beat up offensive line. Go Pack.
Micah Paulson over under 2 sacks.
I would say 2, but you can put me over under. I'll say under.
Okay.
I'll say under. They're not gonna let Micah shine. So it's gonna be somebody else it's gonna be Gray, or is it Gary or Gray on the other side?
Gary.
Yeah.
For me, of course, Ravens and Chiefs is a big game. We know about that, and we've already talked about that extensively. We think we took about 50 minutes on the Ravens tonight, so I think this first time all season we gave them their just due. But Ravens Chiefs big game, no doubt about it. We'll be watching that intently. You say that's the 4:00 game, so
25.
So that's good on that. But I am very interested in this Detroit and Cleveland matchup. I know that again.
You calling it?
No, Detroit gonna smash them. That's the difference. That's the difference. When you got confidence, you just say it. Like, no.
So you didn't have confidence in Cleveland last week. You're right.
No, I had no confidence in Green Bay. I had no confidence in Green Bay.
That's the difference.
No, I think that Detroit is going to show that they are still the top 2 team in the NFC. I know a lot of people got wrapped up and they got clipped by Washington last year. And a lot of people on that Green Bay bandwagon, but I still think the best 2 teams in the NFC are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. And I think that they are on track to meet in the NFC Championship game. But again, like you say, that Rams-Colts game will also be important when it comes to that. I do want to see what Jackson Dart looks like against that Los Angeles Chargers defense. I think there's a stat that Jim Harbaugh has never lost to a rookie quarterback. That'll be interesting to watch. But honestly, if you look up and down the schedule for this weekend, there's really not that many great games. I know Minnesota and Pittsburgh will play Sunday morning overseas in Dublin, Ireland, or something like that. So that'll be interesting. Waking up on Sunday morning, I'll be in church, but between services, I'll be able to check that game out. I think it starts about 9 a.m. something like that. Minnesota with a backup quarterback. I think so far they have been able to right the ship with Carson Wentz. Been looking pretty good. Playing good defense, good solid defense. Again, the running game for both of these teams still leave a lot to be desired, in my opinion. We'll see if that Pittsburgh team with Aaron Rodgers, who they got a victory over the Patriots last week, but if you watched a lot of that game, it wasn't impressive. Wasn't nothing to write home about.
Not by far.
It'll be interesting to see how these two match up on a neutral site over there overseas. But outside of that, nothing really jumps off the page at you.
For my viewing pleasure, Bengals and Broncos is definitely a must watch for me because I am a frequent visitor to Nightcap. And when Shay and Ocho go at it,
you got Ocho versus Shannon. That's a good one. And I want to see
shout out to Ocho for making the Hall of Fame nominations.
You think you're getting in?
Absolutely not. But you gotta get on the ticket.
Log jam, baby. It is what it is.
Especially a receiver.
Yeah. We'll see if Atlanta bounces back as well, because that was a terrible outing.
I wanted to pick them, but I'm like, even with Mariota, like, I cannot trust the Atlanta offense. Like,
it's a shame, man. When they supposedly got one of the best running backs in the league, you gotta put the ball in the end zone. Come on, that's pathetic. Anyway, interesting. We'll keep an eye on that this weekend. Before we get out of here, we do have to do our check in where we at. Where our fantasy football is concerned. And some people they start fast, they start quick, you know what I mean? They feel like they start smelling themselves, they come out the gate, they thinking, I'm on top of the world. I beat the champ, you know what I mean? I beat the man. And then they falter,
I still beat you, so that doesn't matter. I'm confused by
did you win this week?
No, I didn't win this week. I had roster issues this week, so I had to get around those issues. As a GM, you got to be flexible. I had to get around those issues, so I'm gonna bounce back this week. So the
standings right now,
I'm not in the last. Leonard and Mike actually tied this week, which was crazy. So they are tied for first and second. But when it comes to points, Mike has a slight edge. I have the most points in the league, which doesn't shock anybody. 900, by far the most points in the league. Sitting at 2-1 with the only loss being the Calvin on the victory in week 2. But other than that, a dominating start to the year as expected, with the most points by far in the league. And then first
down in 7th place is Calvin. Damn, he's far down there. And down in
keep going down though.
Keep going down. Record.
Keep going down.
Is OTC. We acknowledge you. You want to be acknowledged? We're acknowledging you, 1 and 2. Both of y'all. How you doing down there? Just tell us about it.
It's a long season,
I agree.
We gotta stay the course. It's a long season.
Do you feel like you have the dogs to recover?
Yes. I got a second half team. No doubt.
Okay. Now, me, I will say that I've suffered a few injuries now that will hurt my team. I've lost CD Lamb. I've lost James Conner, both on IR. Unfortunately, lost both of them this past weekend. But fortunately, a good drafter knows how to prepare and has good backups. I went out and made sure I got the wide receiver from Tampa Bay. I can't pronounce the name at this time, but you know what I'm talking about. So he's going to replace CD Lamb. He's going to replace CD Lamb in my starting lineup. So I don't think I'll have any drop off there. And then, of course, I have numerous running backs who are ready to take James Conner's spot. So I have no problems recovering. But Calvin, you have no cavalry coming. Your team sucks. It is what it is.
My team sucks and I beat you. I'm good. I'm not worried.
You know why you beat me. Josh Allen was so far ahead.
It doesn't matter. I won. Like I said last week, I had some players that played Thursday. I didn't start, And then when the injury report came out Sunday, you was either cut some players out that I wanted to keep
you
on
cutting
roster,
people already,
or
in week 3.
So I had to make
you were a terrible
roster moves. No, that means everyone had already played or was injured. I'm drafting for the long run.
Gotcha.
We can go head to head on the roster and see who's better right now if you want to. We can do that.
Let's go. The points speak for themselves. Let's go. Pull your roster now.
Most of your points were from week 1. No, we can do that next week. Come on, don't worry about
it. Don't run from it. My team ain't gonna most of my points. I got guys up and down.
Ain't nobody running.
I got kickers.
I got running backs.
Probably scoring more than most of the people on your team.
I got running backs for days.
Brandon Aubrey probably got more points than half of the players you got on your team.
Please don't disrespect my team like that.
Anyway,
I'm putting up my defense is putting up points.
And that's what Breece Hall ain't done nothing all year. And I still coasting.
And who drafted? You drafted him. So what they say about your GM skills?
He got me points when I needed them. Just enough. And I'm going to be just fine. Let's move on. Final thing. This weekend in college football is going to be a big one. If you like college football, this is the week for you, dog. We got some big games. And to me, the biggest one. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say this: James Franklin. If you do not win this weekend
at home,
I would fire his ass right after the game. To be honest with you,
at night.
And I've supported this brother for many years. But James Franklin has not won a big game probably since he beat Ohio State 10 years ago at this point. Like, how long can you coast off of an Ohio State victory? If you lose this game, we got a real problem. Like seriously, man. And I always support black coaches, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But at some point, you got to win a big game, man. And in Alabama, Georgia, that's going to be interesting.
I think Georgia dog walks. I don't like Alabama's offense.
I don't, but I like that quarterback. Quarterback ain't bad, man.
Alabama quarterback?
Yeah, he ain't bad. Athletic. He can make plays. What's the game you most looking forward to, Calvin?
Oh, the whiteout at Penn State, Oregon at night. Man, look, that Penn State crowd gets up for those night games, and when it's like I think that's the game of the week. I was surprised that
that's the one I'm looking for.
College
and
game
James
day
Franklin better win. Goddammit,
college game day is going there as much as they love the SEC. So I'm surprised by that, but that's the game I'm most looking forward to.
What's your thoughts, Justin?
I'm looking at the LSU Ole Miss game. Just seeing how good LSU can play this year. I think you know what, the number one team that I'm really looking forward to. They gave us a favor and had a bye week this week, and that's the Miami Hurricanes. That's number 2 overall in the AP, and everything else all considered. They are balling. Carson Beck is looking like a number 1 pick. I'm lying, he's not, but he's looking very good. He's looking very good. So shout out to the U. That's the most important thing, to be honest with you.
Possible number 1 pick got hurt last week. Going to be off for a little while. So
that's Oklahoma?
Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah,
but Lane Kiffin is pretty pissed off. They put I think they put Oregon. No, they put Oklahoma on their schedule for a rivalry game, and he went off about that. Then he went off about. I'm like, bruh, you Ole Miss. You should be happy.
I don't understand that.
Like, come on.
Who else went off? Clemson. Clemson coach went off.
Oh, because they lost. Dabo. Yeah, because they lost.
Yeah, because I did this, and I'm the previous champion of that. Nobody cares.
You ain't won a year.
He's supposed to have been gone when he said he wasn't going to pay no players. He's supposed to have been gone.
And that's why they losing. So what's y'all thoughts on Dion, man? Dion been having some struggles, man. Got all his players up out of there. They ain't been able to recruit enough winning players. Was it the things of he just hasn't got his guys in there yet? What's your thoughts?
I mean, the quarterback situation, when he's on his third string quarterback in 4 weeks, no, that's no stability there. And they've never had an offensive or defensive line there. They've never really been able to control the trenches. And I think once you get instability at the quarterback position, that shows his head even more. So now all of a sudden you have a quarterback that you really can't rely on to make changes or make calls at the line to get your players to run in the proper position. So I think that's where it starts, but he just got to get someone he could trust there, because he's not going to trust anyone like he trusts your door. So I think that's part of the problem.
Well, he got 3 big games ahead. He got BYU. He probably got some. He got ranked teams within that division that he's in.
Man, he not favored in none of them.
Yeah.
Hey, no, he's not. But you got to win some games. It's just it is what it is. So if you can shake some things up and beat some of these ranked teams that you have, and then we can start looking at you for being more than just like 2-2 is what they are now. So yeah, we was all looking forward towards him. Hopefully, he was going to do a little bit better than what he's doing right now. But you don't have your bell cows. You don't have Travis. You don't have Shador. So we gotta see you coach, and you about 500 right now.
We'll see how his recruiting has been. That's the thing. Remember, he came there to attract the best. So again, he not going to outdo Texas and Alabama and LSU and those schools right off the bat. So Ohio State, Michigan, like those are the blue bloods. Like,
is a change of scenery needed?
I'm sure. I mean, he'll be out of there sooner or later. Like if you don't feel like you can walk right into a situation where you can recruit guys to come to Colorado,
they already passed up on him. I don't think I don't think he's going back there.
But if your resume continues to dip, are you as attractive as an attraction for some of these big time programs? That's the thing. I think if he was going to go last year, you leave after that. Like at the splash,
I agree.
He's losing the steam right now. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Speaking of losing the steam, what about Coach Belichick down there in North Carolina? Oh,
he ain't losing no steam. He got his right hand girl making those decisions. So
Jesus Christ,
paying her for him or whatever they doing.
I mean,
and he just transitioned into a son anyway. So,
but nobody could have expected.
He only staying there for a year. I don't think
I don't think Bill cares, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Man.
That is true.
Going through the
motions. You think he want to go back to the league?
No,
at this point,
I think he's done.
No.
Just done.
Like Calvin said, man, he gonna get written off to the sunset.
It's sad, but
this was really to get his son in there. Yeah.
But did he really need to take the job to get his son in there though? Like,
if that was part of them giving his son a chance,
it's the handshake.
Yeah.
You want him to start. You want him to coach.
You want him. I need you for a year. I need you to bring notoriety to this organization. So yeah.
All right, that's all I got. Anything else y'all want to touch on before we get out of here? I know the hour's late, and we predominantly just talk football tonight, but it's a special Thursday night show. We had to.
Only thing I'm gonna ask: is Edge really fighting Cena?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a rumor that was started on the internet.
Yes. I don't care what Larry said.
I think it's false. I just don't think so. But y'all can believe what you want. Anyway, thoughts on NBA? It was something that came out. Oh, we need to talk about this.
What, Van Fleet?
Yeah, he done for the year. Zion. Oh God.
My man on that Ozempic.
It's a contract year for him, right?
Him and Luka went and got the same shots. So we'll see. But they changed the All-Star game format again. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks. They're going to USA versus the world. You didn't see that?
Okay. I know it was rumored. I didn't know it was official. But okay.
Yeah, it's official. Official. I saw that the other day.
I didn't realize it was in LA this year, or it was in into a dome in this year. I thought it was
Segundo. Yeah, we'll see.
What?
All right, guys. El Segundo.
Oh.
I don't know what he said, bro. I don't know what he said.
That's where the stadium is at. El Segundo, California.
It's not in El Segundo. It's in it's Inglewood.
Inglewood. El Segundo right around the corner. You've been to LA, haven't you? What are you laughing for?
I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't know what you was talking about.
Oh, that's what El Segundo is, y'all. You ain't know watch out for the sun. Anyway, that's it for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all.
I had no idea what you was talking about.
Thursday night. Some of you all watching that game and probably kept us on the second screen. Most of y'all probably weren't watching that game, let's be honest. But we appreciate you all.
2013 with 50 seconds left.
It's over.
No, they on the 8. They got a chance to score.
You think they're gonna score?
Yes.
Good luck.
No,
all right.
No.
What's Harris? Marvin Harrison Jr. doing?
He just scored a touchdown pass. He just scored a touchdown pass. Yeah.
It
was probably like 25 yards. It was probably 25 yards.
Okay. I like that. All right, folks. That's all we got tonight. We'll be back next week on our regular normal night, Wednesday night. We appreciate you all tuning in.
El Segundo.
For Calvin, Justin, I'm Larry. We'll see you next week for another edition. Get off the damn fist. Have a good night.